Before a single shovel ever hits the ground, before the first steel beam is lifted into the sky, a building has already been built on paper. But what happens if that blueprint, that master plan, has a mistake? Well, today we're going behind the scenes. We're going to investigate the super critical quality control process that architects use to make sure a building's design is absolutely flawless. So, I want you to think of an architect not just as a designer, but as a detective. And their crime scene? A massive, sprawling set of construction documents. Their whole mission is to hunt down these hidden clues, errors, omissions, contradictions, before they can escape into the real world. Because in construction, one wrong line can have some major consequences. Let's really think about this for a second. How much damage can one tiny little mistake on a blueprint actually cause? I mean, what if it's just a misplaced door that accidentally violates an accessibility code, or a structural beam that's specified, I don't know, an inch too short? These might seem like small things, but the ripple effect, it can be absolutely enormous. And this slide, it lays out the cost perfectly. It's like a row of dominoes, right? One single error doesn't just mean fixing one thing. No way. It triggers this whole cascade of problems. Super costly rework that just blows the budget, delays that can push a schedule back by months, and yeah, even nasty legal disputes. But in the absolute worst-case scenario, that final domino is a serious performance or safety failure in the finished building. So to prevent these kinds of disasters, architects don't just, cross their fingers and hope for the best. They build a case for perfection right from day one, using a really structured process. This is their master plan for the whole investigation, the Quality Management Program. Now, a Quality Management Program, or QM program, isn't just some final spell check before the documents go out the door. Not at all. It's a formal, proactive system that's designed to build quality into the process from the very, very beginning. The key thing to get here is that it takes all the rigorous practices architects already have and just makes them more deliberate and way more effective. And this really gets to the heart of why this all matters so much. As the source material puts it, good documentation is more than a defensive procedure. It's not just about covering your bases to avoid lawsuits. It's the actual foundation of clear, effective communication. It ensures everyone, from the client all the way to the builder, is on the exact same page. Okay, so how does this investigation actually work in practice? Well, one of the most critical steps is calling in backup. The peer review process brings in a fresh set of eyes, other skilled architects, to examine the evidence and spot clues that the original team, who might be too close to the project, could have easily missed. And this isn't a one-and-done kind of thing. A proper quality audit is a multi-stage investigation with at least 3 crucial checkpoints. The first review happens really early during the initial schematic design to check the core concept. The second one happens during design development, as all the details are being fleshed out. And the final, most intensive review happens when the documents are almost complete, giving one last chance to catch any errors before they go to the builder. So why so many checks? Why not just one big one at the end? Well, it's because the goal is to find and fix issues as early as humanly possible. Think about it. Catching a problem in the schematic phase might just mean moving a few lines on a screen. But catching that same problem when the documents are 90% done, that could trigger a massive, inefficient, and super costly redesign. Early detection is absolutely key. All right, so our detectives are on the case. What kind of tools are they using to uncover all these hidden errors? Let's take a look inside the architect's toolkit, and we'll start with a classic problem. This is one of the most common clues our detectives are looking for. The drawings might clearly show one type of window, but then the written specifications, which are the detailed nitty-gritty instructions for the builder, call for a completely different one. Or maybe the drawings show a material that's just completely missing from the specs. This kind of contradiction is pretty much guaranteed to cause confusion and delays on site. So how do they solve these contradictions? Well, a lot of the time, it's with a surprisingly simple tool, the humble checklist. I know, it might seem basic, but a systematic checklist makes sure every single detail is reviewed against a clear standard. This means checking that the structural grid is coordinated, that the wall sections actually match the specs, and that all the MEP, that's the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing systems, are all coordinated so they don't literally clash with each other. But checklists are really just the beginning. Today, the modern architectural detective has access to some seriously powerful technology that just supercharges the entire investigation. Enter the real game changer,
building information modeling, or what everyone calls BIM. This isn't just a 3D drawing. I want you to think of it as a complete digital prototype of the entire building. BIM software can automatically detect clashes, like, for instance, a plumbing pipe that's scheduled to run right through a major steel beam. It finds problems in a virtual world that would be incredibly difficult, not to mention expensive, to discover in the real one.
So the peer reviews are done, the checklists are all filled out, and the digital model is totally clash-free. The detective has officially closed the case. So what's the ultimate result of all this meticulous, detailed work? At the end of the day, all of these tools and processes, they all boil down to one fundamental goal: to effectively and clearly communicate the design to the builder. A perfect, quality-controlled document leaves zero room for doubt, no ambiguity, and no interpretation. It is a precise set of instructions for turning a complex vision into a physical reality. Which really leaves us with a final thought. If every building out there tells a story about its design and its construction, then is this rigorous quality review process how architects make sure that story isn't a comedy of errors, but a true masterpiece? It's really all the invisible work that makes our visible world work perfectly.